Welcome to Webcertain TV. Today I'm joined by Gunter Gabriel, who is the SEO and Content Performance Manager for Hilti, a global supplier to the construction industry. And today we're going to discuss a rather ambitious SEO project that they undertook and look at how it worked and any learnings from that. Hi Gunter, thank you for being here.
Yeah, nice to be here, sir.
So first of all, Hilti is a big global brand. You work across the world and have over 60 country websites, so different country language websites. So already quite a big challenge from an SEO point of view.
Exactly. So we do business in roughly 120 countries worldwide, and we have meanwhile 60 plus local websites, full-blown, transactional, that basically allows our customers in most countries to not only get product information and compare products, select products, but also to buy them.
And this SEO project I mentioned was to change the catalogue links across all of these websites in one go. So firstly, before we dig into what you actually did, why did you make that decision? What was the purpose of making this big change?
That was actually a journey. In the old times, we didn't care much about links. We were good out of nature. I don't know why, but we didn't care.
Yeah.
We realized in a relaunch project in 2013 that SEO is something important, especially to take care about during a relaunch, because we dropped dramatically.
Yeah.
And we then introduced what we called speaking links, because that was a ranking criteria. At Google, everybody said this is important, so we did it. And everybody loved it. I mean, speaking links, nice, you can read them. And over the course of the last roughly 3 to 4 years, we realized that our product managers in all these 60 countries tended to rename their product categories. And as a result of this, the links changed.
Yep.
But they didn't tell anybody. So we were constantly basically losing rankings we already gained by these changes. And sometimes in even major markets where we made a change to the structure, half a year later a new guy came in, changed it back to something else. So it was constant movement.
Yeah.
And then last year at the SMX, I saw a presentation given by John Müller from Google, which basically was, the quintessence was a stable URL environment is better than speaking links.
Yeah.
And in a separate session, I think it was in the in-house SEO session, he made another statement that the relevance of speaking links for rankings is kind of dropping. It's not completely out, but it's a low ranking factor. And that was the point when we said, okay, then it's probably better to have a stable structure and avoid all these movements.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of impossible to tell maybe 600 people, if you do something like this, you need to inform these and these persons so we can establish redirects.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the rationale
behind
behind that.
So then when you made that decision, that's what we're going to do. What were the next steps to actually start preparing the team and the ground to make that actually happen and make it work?
The whole thing was part of a bigger project. We also improved a lot the quality in our catalog, together with the team that manages our product database. So we have a product information system. And together with this team, we basically develop a URL structure. How would that look like? And then we said, okay, this is supposed to go live 2019. What are the steps before that? And the first thing we did a complete cleanup of redirects that were sitting on our servers.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I'm correct, but my impression was we had a history of like 15 years in business of redirects. Sometimes we discovered that we already had loops where basically customers got into.
Yeah.
So we did a cleanup. We analyzed the ones that are still needed, that are used, but deleted all the other ones. And even if we weren't dubbed, we said, okay, it's probably better to clean it up.
Yeah.
And if it's creating an issue, fix it afterwards, but really to get rid of as many redirects, historical ones we have. That was kind of a first step. And then in a second step, the team, also the product data management team, prepared kind of Excel files with a mapping. This is the old link, this is the new link. Typically as much as high in the hierarchy as possible to basically avoid having thousands of redirects. That was step 2. And then during the week where we made these changes, and that was roughly a week from the start till the end, because a lot of data had to be transferred and re-indexed. We also implemented these redirects on the servers. And yeah, that was it. And then on the Google side, what I did right after the launch, I resubmitted all the sitemap files, but the old ones.
Yeah.
So to basically tell Google, okay, please come. There was a change to this URL, so we could pick up a redirect.
Yeah.
And then a week later, we had the new sitemap files for the product catalog, and then I resent them basically again and said, okay, this is now our new structure. And I don't know if it was the right approach, but out of all the presentations I saw typically at the SMX, and we also have some consultants, we were thinking that this is a good one.
Yeah.
And it looks like it was. Google did show the first results with a new structure already kind of hours later after we did that.
Yeah, wow.
Some URLs we still see that still the old URL is in the index and the new one is there, and they show up next to each other sometimes.
Yeah.
Which, interesting enough, it boosted our impressions.
Yeah.
It dropped the click-through rate.
Yeah.
And people are concerned, oh, my click-through rate is dropping. But the reason was that both URLs were in the index.
Yeah.
And we still see that sometimes. So my current impression is after 2 months, Google has not processed everything.
Yeah.
But they are quite advanced in understanding the new structure. And if I look at the results, also impressions, clicks, click-through rate, everything is basically slightly better than before.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that could be kind of natural because not normally in January you have less searches for construction-related topics than in March and April. So it's kind of a natural growth. But the good news is basically there's no bad news.
Yeah, so you haven't suddenly seen half the pages disappear, which is always the concern of any business when they're going to embark on something like this. Is there's a risk that we're suddenly going to lose half of our pages from Google overnight. But
so that was the biggest concern I had.
Yeah, of course.
And you never know. I mean, you can prepare everything.
Yeah.
Nobody survived it.
Well, and that's always the risk because you can do everything as suggested, but that still doesn't always guarantee it. So it is a concern. But how did you monitor it then? Purely just through kind of Google Analytics and other tools you might use just to check that you didn't see anything different? And
no, so on one hand we use Google Search Console to see if it has an impact on the basic key parameters, impressions, clicks, click-through rate, and the rankings. I also use Google Analytics to watch the incoming traffic from search engines. Is there any drop, any increase, or any dramatic change? But there wasn't. And we also have a tool contracted which is a search metrics. And here we checked the visibility index mainly and checked also for loser and winner keywords. To see, okay, does it have an impact? And yes, it had, but at the same time where we lost, we also won on other ones. So that was kind of even what we wanted.
Yeah, so if you average it out across, there wasn't any serious impact. Yeah, that's quite, that must be quite, and because you were doing it in all these different countries as well, there's obviously sometimes something that could work, say, or it might be picked up really well in the UK and Germany, and bigger markets might not so well. And often the concern is that the smaller markets might get forgotten, but your success or the appearance of it not having an impact was across the board in all countries. Exactly.
As I analyzed on a constant base the big markets, of course, Germany, US, also Russia, because we are with Yandex. And also had a look at smaller markets, also in terms of Hilti, smaller markets like India. But the trend was pretty much the same in all the markets, no negative impact. I can't totally exclude that probably 1 out of these 60 had a problem. But at least none of my local counterparts came back with
panic,
with bad numbers. They came back with kind of panic when they first realized what we planned. Because it was in many people's heads that speaking links is the killer ranking criteria. And now these crazy guys at Glow will start to change that, and we will lose all our rankings.
And as if sort of the benefit of doing it, I guess, was also the plan is the long term. So you can see that it hasn't had an impact initially, but obviously your hope is that by doing this and creating this stable structure, you kind of future-proofing, and whatever else happens, you should.
So that is one expectation, that we get kind in the long run or mid to long term, get basically that this stable URL structure has a positive impact.
Yeah.
We also have at the same time changed the structure in a way that we are able to identify these catalog links by the URL structure, which was kind of not impossible but difficult to do before.
Yeah.
And now we are able to do that, and that way we have an ability to basically compare product catalog performance in Google Search Console, also in Google Analytics, versus, for instance, other content we have on the website.
Yeah, so it's making...
Which opens up some nice opportunities for analysis.
Absolutely. So what advice would you have for any other business thinking of doing a similar project? What are the kind of main things you would say that helped you make this project such a success?
I think the biggest thing is that you have to have some trust and some reputation in the organization.
Yeah.
That they basically trust you, we are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a high risk. I
Yeah.
mean, if you suddenly disappear,
Yeah, it
with
can be
60
huge
markets,
amounts of money
it could be
in
a
a
huge
day.
amount.
Yeah.
If another company would do the same, and if they would have the technical ability to separate that and maybe do it website by website, it's probably a better option. We didn't have that. We only had the option, change it once for all. Or
Yeah. Yeah, I must say that would kind of often be the advice you hear from many people, and we would probably give as well, is, you know, try it on one and see how it goes, and don't go for 60 in 1 week, but it shows that it can work.
Yeah, it's a complex. I mean, the beauty of we have a unique system worldwide. The beauty of it's the same for every market.
Yeah, but that's
the
also
downside
very...
sometimes is if you do upgrades, if you do changes, you have to do it for all at the same.
Yeah. But equally, it does make it easier because you are replicating the same thing. You're not having to try and figure out how each one's different.
Second thing is communication. You need to explain to people why you do it.
Yeah.
And here my experience is it's not, so just one email is not enough.
Yeah.
I still got questions afterwards. Why did you crazy guys even do it? And I said, well, we communicated with 6 months. You could have raised your concerns before.
Yeah.
You saw it in the test system, and so communication that people really also buy into.
And I guess, yeah, exactly. Engage with them rather than just sending them it and hope that they've understood it. Make sure that they do. And
then a clear tech plan for the IT guys, for the delivery, also the development guys, on all the stakeholders, that they basically properly plan the technical steps as part of a project, and not like what was kind of our tactic years ago, 3-4 years ago. SEO is something we do afterwards. Yeah. Let's just do it and then we focus on.
Yeah, definitely. Make it part of the whole. Make all the teams part of the success as well. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
But that's, I think, something that applies to SEO in general.
Yeah.
It should be part of a business.
Yes.
And not something some magician
does. Somebody sits in the corner of the room and nobody knows what they do. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, well, it sounds...
Call Google, my product is not a place for.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it was a very successful project, and thank you for sharing how you did it today.
Thank you.
Thank you.